forgot to mention the cameo of Pazuzu in The Burbs.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was watching all those horror movies and they had The Exorcist on.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, we did.
And he gets the vomit right in his face.
Yeah.
And he wakes up in his Mr. Rogers neighborhood. Yeah.
Right. Anyway,
Anyway.
was from another time.
Yeah, it was from
that
another
was from
time.
last week.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know.
Right.
Threefer.
I heard that Bad Boys, the new one, is actually pretty good.
My dad went to see it.
It wouldn't
He loved
surprise
it.
me.
He loved
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
But that's
No.
my dad. If it's
don't
a
know.
big,
The Bad Boy
dumb,
movies are pretty funny.
stupid
They're fun. Yeah.
action movie, he's
What's
gonna
the
love it.
one with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker?
Rush
Dude,
Hour.
Rush Hour?
Dude.
Those were
The first one.
Oh, I don't know. Is it the second one where he's the giant Chinese guy and he's like, what are they feeding you here?
Yeah.
And he just tosses him around.
Yeah.
I thought that was the third one, but
It might be the third one.
I don't know.
They're all pretty funny.
They are. That was my first PG-13 movie.
Oh, man.
Was watching
Rush Hour?
like the first, even though I think the first Rush Hours are.
Might be.
Yeah.
But I remember we went and saw 2 in the theater. Like we've seen like all 3 or 4 of them together. Like that's kind of Dad and I's.
I mean, they're not bad. They have their place. They're
Right.
just,
Oh
you know.
yeah, they're good.
Yep.
But all right, well, welcome to the Movies with Chill podcast. I am your host, Chill. Today we'll be reviewing A Quiet Place from 2018. A Quiet Place is a horror thriller directed by John Krasinski and written by Bryan Woods, Scott Beck, and John Krasinski, based on a concept Woods and Beck formed during their college years. Starring Emily Blunt, John Krasinski, Millicent Simmonds, and Noah Jupe. Jupe.
Yep.
Yeah. Set on a quiet post-apocalyptic farm, the Abbott...
My kind of atmosphere.
Yeah. The Abbott family do what they can to survive against sightless aliens with ultra-sharp hearing. As always, I am joined by David and Lee. How you boys doing?
What's up?
Oi, oi.
Oi, oi.
And we were supposed to have another guest on this. She was...
Man, they're all
unable-
blowing it.
Yeah. Unable to make it to
Fired.
this one either.
I just see how strike one.
Yep.
Yep.
Good
What
luck.
to tell you.
You better come with an A game on a movie suggestion if you want to get back on this show.
For
Yeah, I
sure.
agree.
For sure.
We give you a chance and
You're coming up in here with
It's
like,
done.
you know, Rain Man or something.
something,
Oh, gosh.
something good.
Something
Right.
good.
Yeah.
Something I can talk about.
Yeah. We picked this movie because A Quiet Place Day 1 is coming out this Friday.
Good stuff.
So,
And I just think this is an overall really good suspense
Let's
thriller. I don't even think it's a horror movie, honestly. I would say it's more of like
A
just
thriller.
a thriller.
Well, I tell you what, that I saw the first one in the theater.
Yeah.
when
there's
it
some
came
jumps.
out.
Yeah.
That beginning where
Yeah.
it takes the boy,
It's rough, man.
man, it
Intense.
was rough. It was like right off the bat, they're like gut punch.
Yeah.
Later.
They don't hold back. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and the whole time, I'll get into this after the spoilers, but the whole
Right.
time I watched that, it's just like,
Edge.
how do you live after that?
Right.
Yeah.
How do you because you can't deal with your grief in any proper way in that environment, and
It's almost post-apocalyptic in like 2 different meanings, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So,
it's crazy.
yeah. So I'm guessing you said the first time you saw it was in theaters.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think it was the same for me as well. I think we went and...
I saw.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater.
I saw it down
as
at
well.
Berry Road, and I saw it in the Dolby Atmos.
Ooh!
And they have the speakers in the chairs.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that movie has got some sound.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, it's quiet for so long, and then something happens, and it's just boom. And
You're right.
Raccoons.
it comes out of nowhere.
Dang
Yeah.
old raccoons.
You're right.
Mommy's chasing away the broom on the back porch.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Why?
Trying to get the cat food.
Another Tom Hanks reference.
Yeah.
Who would you put up to fight against these creatures?
What do you mean?
So like
Like what fictional
creature,
character?
Yeah.
What fictional creature?
What fictional creature?
Yeah, of same size proportion. So you couldn't put Godzilla up against one of these guys.
Is it the alien? What is it? Is it Xeno?
Xenomorph?
Yeah. Why not?
Man, I don't know. I think the Xenomorph would...
I say just a predator.
I mean,
A Predator would be good.
It wouldn't. That's a really good crossover
Yeah.
idea because I mean
I say
it's
just a
right up the
Predator.
Predator's alley.
Oh, yeah. I think that with the
They're
Xenomorph,
so fast.
Yeah.
it would get killed and then it would spill
Yeah.
acid blood because they make so much...
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
their durability on this movie is insane.
Well,
bulletproof.
that's because they only tried one offensive ammunition. If you could have gone with gas, you could have gone with fire. Like napalm. Well, but they're so fast.
They try fire in the second one and it doesn't work. It just walks right through it.
Yeah.
So you got to get them to open up.
Yeah.
So I think the Predator is
napalm sticks to kids.
Pretty solid.
Yeah.
Maybe
Terminator.
What was the movie I just watched with Nick Cage with the monsters that are based off of how Goofy looks in a Goofy movie? Remember I was talking about it? And it's like post-apocalyptic as well. And they like...
Tina's Wonderland?
No. I went to the movies and saw it. Arcadian. I talked about it in the podcast.
Was that about kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's?
No. This is post-apocalyptic. Lives with his kids on a farm.
Yeah.
But these things live underground and they come out at night. And they are terrifying and very strong. The monsters are. But they have this jaw motion that sounds almost like a shotgun going off when they are like... coming at you. Their mouth is like it's crazy. It'd be a good fight, I think. I recommend Arcadian. I think you should watch it.
Okay. I'm going to pick a T-1000. That's my pick. Yeah.
That'd be a good pick.
Yeah.
T-1000.
The second, T2.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to stop at T-1000.
Nope.
No.
At all.
Nope.
So, all right.
It's lava.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the movie before we get into spoilers. Nope. A Quiet Place has a runtime of 90 minutes.
It's perfect timing.
Quick.
That's a great amount for a movie.
That's great for a movie that is not a serious drama.
Right. Yeah.
So, premiered at South by Southwest March 9th, 2018, and released April 6th, 2018. Had a budget of $17 million, and it grossed $341 million.
Wow.
Top
good ROI there.
Yeah. Top box office for that month: Avengers: Infinity War.
Whoa.
Sheesh.
A Quiet Place.
Wow.
Ready Player One.
Whoa.
Rampage. 5 Blockers. 6
Blockers. I've seen it.
I don't think I've seen Blockers.
It's John Cena, right?
Yeah.
Number 6, Black Panther. Truth or Dare. I Feel Pretty.
I don't know. I've never heard of it. Acrimony.
Acrimony.
Is that really what that says?
Yeah.
That doesn't look right.
Damn, I'm
uneducated.
I'm
swine.
stupid. And then number 10, I Can Only Imagine.
You went to college.
I have a master's degree.
Jeez.
But I've also never...
Barely made it till high school.
Yeah, well, that's different. Fuck that place.
Sorry for cussing.
Sorry.
All right.
What's up, buddy?
So, facts about the movie before we get into spoilers. The film's director and male lead, John Krasinski, played the creature in a mocap suit for quite a few scenes.
That's cool.
So,
he's pretty tall and lanky.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen him in something else.
No, I don't know. What could it be?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh,
What's
he was
the war movie?
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
13 hours.
13 hours, yeah.
Well,
pretty good.
That's
pretty good actor in that.
And his one guest spot is Mr. Fantastic.
Oh, yeah. He would have made a really good Mr. Fantastic.
I disagree.
Oh, he was in that really popular show, too.
Parks and Rec?
No, it was
like that, I think. Leatherheads. That's what you're thinking of.
Yeah, Leatherheads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was in Leatherheads.
And then Jack Ryan. That's what it was.
Jack Ryan. And
He was
that
in
is
Jack Ryan is really good.
It's
That's
really
really
good.
good.
Yeah.
It was really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
So, I don't think he's done anything else.
I
So.
think that's
I
it.
think that's it.
Yeah.
I think he did a movie once
Mm-hmm.
with like Meryl Streep or something.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's like a wedding movie. It had Alec Baldwin in it too.
Really?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all he's ever done.
He's never done anything else.
else.
Yeah.
No.
I think he was working in an office before he started acting.
I could see that.
So.
I could see him working in an office.
Yeah.
Sales.
Yeah, sales. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paper. Something
Like that.
Yeah.
I don't know about paper. Yeah. Maybe mufflers.
So actress Millicent Simmonds has been deaf since infancy due to a medication overdose. This was the second film she starred in, with Wonderstruck from 2017 being her first. The film's premise about the need to maintain silence was compelling enough that many audiences at screenings grew unusually quiet themselves, such as eating and making any noise in the auditorium was frowned upon by viewers.
I loved it.
Consequently, concession stands, a major income stream for movie theaters, were limited for audiences of the film.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always get popcorn, so I have to have popcorn
I don't know
to go to
what
the
to tell
movie. That's just how that works.
Yeah.
Popcorn. Gotta have it.
Popcorn and
we just bought an air
pop.
popper for our Friday night movies.
Really?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
a little bitty one. It's
Yeah.
gonna be dope.
I hear those are so hard to clean out, and they just get filthy and disgusting.
The big ones, like the ones you see at the movie theaters, are. This is one of those little canister air poppers.
It blows itself out. Like,
Really?
when it's done popping, there might be 1 or 2 kernels left in there, and it is clean because it just blows everything out of it. Yeah.
You know, New Girl?
Yeah.
Okay. That's my favorite
it's so good.
thing of all time is whenever they're talking about one of them wanting a popcorn machine for the bar, but then somebody else thinks that they're talking about something else, and he's like, I am not doing that. It is disgusting in there. You have to get in there with gloves and reach on there and get everything out. It's disgusting. And she's like, how dare you?
What are you talking about?
Right. Emily Blunt was initially unsure about starring in the film, so Amy Adams and Anne Hathaway were briefly considered for the role of the
And then John put his foot down and said, "Woman, you're doing it."
See, I remember a different story on that. I remember
need to draw some money in this thing.
She wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. He hadn't asked her.
Oh, really?
Wow.
And he wrote the part for her. But he was afraid to ask her because
she's so much a bigger star.
She's
than he
a
is.
big star.
Yeah.
And so he was really afraid that she was going to say no.
Dude,
that I saw this on interview with both of them, and then he finally was like, "How would you feel about doing this?" She goes, "I thought you'd never ask. Like, I really wanted, but I think in the meantime, Amy Adams and all they had
Hathaway,
they had done it. Yeah,
I can't see anybody else doing it really.
I could see
Anne Hathaway.
I could see Anne Hathaway.
They had good chemistry on screen.
Yeah,
you could tell.
Oh yeah,
it was good.
I felt like they knew each other somehow.
Somehow.
So
we'll never know.
Right. Anything else of note of the movie before we get into spoilers?
I liked this movie a lot. This was such a fresh take on the horror suspense genre.
Thriller genre.
Since the Superior Aliens.
Super thoughtfully
I would
written.
agree. Since Aliens came out, we haven't had
since Aliens came out, you haven't had a really good alien movie.
I agree.
Right.
Since
Aliens. Since Aliens came out, we haven't had a good
alien horror movie.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Signs is pretty good.
Signs is good. Yeah.
You
Signs
like
is good.
Signs?
I like it, but it's not.
Man.
It's not scary.
I didn't think it was scary.
Everybody's like, "Oh my god, I got so scared when that thing walked out." I'm like,
me neither. I didn't either. But I think it's our age. I think we were older. The scariest part for me was when it was on the damn roof and he looks over and he was like, the whatever brother is on the roof again.
Yeah.
And it's like just standing there looking at him.
How's he on the roof?
To me, that was the scariest part of the movie.
For me, it's the
door.
cellar with the door.
Oh, and the hand.
The hand.
Cuts him.
Yeah. And then also, like I said, in the cellar where the boy's standing right next to the door, like the shaft. And then the hand just like pops up and reaches out and grabs him.
Yep.
And then they drop everything screaming.
That flashlight's like
rolling
twirling
around. Yeah. That's for another time. Just saying.
Sounds like we just did it all.
Right?
That's it. The movie Signs, everybody.
Swing away,
I
Meryl.
give it an A.
Yeah.
Swing away, Meryl.
Swing away. I'd give it an A as well.
Yep.
That's like the perfect like introduction horror movie, though. Look at you. You're getting a double feature right now.
Boom, right?
Twofer.
So we would recommend A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
Who would you recommend watch The Quiet Place?
Anybody that's like into suspense.
I really don't think it's
like
super
12.
super scary. It's manageable. I really think that I was watching it and Ben walked by. He's 11. He was like, "Oh, I watch this. Is really good." And he just kept walking.
didn't even pause.
No, he's like, "Yeah, it's a really good movie."
That's good.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Awesome.
I was gonna say about 12.
Yeah.
You could get away with just about any.
Yeah, I don't think my
12-year-old
8-year-old could handle it. I mean, he probably could, but then there are just a few scenes that you're like,
Yeah, you're gonna have a visitor
sheesh.
in the middle of the night.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, spoilers on your count, Lee.
Drop. Go ahead.
All right. Time for some trivia. What day does the movie start on?
Tuesday.
Day 89.
That's correct. How many creatures are confirmed to be in the area?
3. Yeah.
When is the baby due?
2 weeks later.
Yeah.
I don't know.
October 23rd.
Yep. See, he knew.
Yeah. What pulls the nail loose on the stairs?
The bag of laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. And then bonus question, okay?
Ooh.
Closest guess to the minute that the first line of dialogue is spoken in the movie.
See, it's 90 minutes long. I'm going to say 65. 65.
I'm going to say 47.
Well, based on Price is Right rules, you guys are both
way over.
Incorrect.
Okay.
37.
37.
You weren't too far off.
I had the 7, right?
Yeah.
I'm the closest.
When did they speak? Who was the first line?
John Krasinski, whenever they're
Were they at the waterfall?
waterfall.
I thought that was later in the movie.
Yeah. He screams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Now, I was watching it with a critical eye, and there are times where you could hear Emily Blunt like whispering while she's
bullshit.
So
She's cheating.
Yeah.
No noise.
All right. Well, let's get into our not so long form discussion.
Sweet.
So we start off day 89, and it's kind of a cool shot where they're going through like a small town grocery store, pharmacy area.
Yeah.
And the youngest brother, I think his name is Ben. Is that right?
The youngest?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. So the youngest is going through, and he found like a toy
Space shuttle.
Space shuttle. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Well, he draws the rocket ship on the floor and tells his sister that this is how we're going to get away. Is a rocket ship.
right,
The
rocket
toy on the
ship.
shelf, and he almost knocks it off into the floor, and his sister comes diving at it. We still don't know
Picked it up.
why.
Right.
We're not making any noise yet, but it's evident that you got to be quiet.
Right. For the quiet place. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, as an audience, if
Right.
you've never watched the movie, you don't know why, and
it's
you
the
need to be
quiet place.
quiet.
Right. I
Why
mean,
is
it's
it
right
quiet?
off the bat.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the movie
They're
picks
also,
up...
you notice that they're all barefoot, too.
Oh, yeah.
No one's wearing shoes.
Right.
And they're being extra cautious on trying not to make any noise
Right, like
whatsoever.
Also, notice that I love this, that all the potato chips are still on,
Yep.
on the shelf.
All the potato
Right.
chips.
Everything that makes noise was still on the shelf.
For sure.
It's crazy. I love that detail so much.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're walking out, and we
Sand paths.
We have sand paths, and I think John Krasinski, and this is one thing
That's such
that
a
I
cool
know,
detail. I love that.
It
I'm
is.
sorry, but he did that in less than 90 days.
Well,
It doesn't take that long
no,
to
I
lay
think
sand
that
down.
like the neighborhood
From where they're
'cause-
walking?
but also they're walking past other people's houses that are lighting these bonfires later on to let them know, like, hey, we're still good, which is another great moment. But I would imagine that other people around that surrounding area use these walking paths
Yeah.
to go from area to area, because I don't think it's just him. One thing, though, is John Krasinski does take the batteries out of the toy,
Yep.
puts them up on the counter with the toy,
With the toy.
and then walks off, and
Right.
they all just...
It's too loud. Told him it was too loud. You can't have
be
it.
doing that.
I am very curious on if they all actually learn sign language.
I would say they did because the daughter's deaf.
No, I'm saying actors.
Actors, right.
Because
I would imagine
they
that.
are good. I mean, I guess they're learning that line just
Yeah.
like they are anything else.
Same.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're very fluent. And,
Yeah. It didn't look.
It does not look fake. It looks very good. Yeah.
I think the only character that I don't remember signing is the middle boy. But other than that, yeah.
He does. He signs to his
Yeah, he
sister
does.
several times.
Oh, does he?
Especially
Yeah.
up on the silo. He's
Oh,
telling her,
right,
like,
yeah.
he will come get us.
But also when
He'll
they're
come
playing
get you.
Monopoly and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
all
Yeah.
that stuff. So, but anyway, youngest kid's probably like 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's 4 years old.
He grabs the toy and, of course, grabs the batteries.
Can you imagine trying to raise a
he does turn back
4-year-old
around.
to not make any noise?
No. Or a baby.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just talking a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
We're not even going to get into the dumb part of the movie,
Yeah.
but the 4-year-old,
I mean, kids
you
don't
need
start.
something else.
Kids don't start their reasoning skills until they're 5 or 6. Then they
Right.
start
Right.
developing reasoning skills. So a 4-year-old does not have reasoning skills.
No.
Besides survival.
right.
Right.
So his reasoning is that he must be quiet
I
to
get it.
survive.
I get
you
it.
know,
but how many 4-year-olds didn't make it?
Yeah.
all of them
So that's
who don't
what-
have John as a daddy.
Exactly. So I don't know. So they go walking home. They're sand paths, and we got the little convoy, and bringing up
Across
the
the
rear
bridge.
is the boy.
And we said that the sister gave him the space shuttle.
Yes, the sister gave him the space shuttle,
And then
she
he
walked
turned
out
around and he grabs the
grabs
batteries. Yeah.
and we knew then it was going to end poorly. Yeah. So they get to the bridge. Their family's at the other end, and
And one detail, too, that I love about the older sister is that every time we're supposed to be taking from her perspective,
it's silent.
it's dead silence. And so you see her reaction to the family and
turning
around towards her, and she's like, what the hell's going on? And then she turns around, and then you see the littlest one with toys
lit up.
Yeah.
And she can't hear it, but then it switches to John's point of view. And it's the classic, like, 90s toy.
Noise maker.
And
he runs so fast.
And you don't know why. And then all of a sudden,
find out real quick.
This creature that you don't really see off on the side is brushing against the woods.
Yeah, you see the trees moving.
And then all of a sudden it, boom, and then the kid's gone.
Oh, dude, it's like 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it just takes him.
And that's it.
And they're all standing there in shock. They don't scream or anything.
You can't make a sound.
He just stops like in his tracks and is like in shock.
Yeah.
And so is the audience. I mean,
it was a gut punch.
Cuts to
out
black.
Of nowhere.
Yeah.
And
in the first 5 minutes of a movie.
Right.
I mean, damn.
Set the tone.
Set it up.
Way to set the tone. I mean, it's really hard to find another movie that sets the tone for the rest of the movie the way this one came out.
Oh, yeah.
Just top notch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Top notch.
Perfect.
World building and storytelling there.
Yeah. Sets everything up that you need to know about the movie. Cuts to black. We get our title.
Day 472.
Day 472, and a couple things have changed. They're out on their farm. Emily Blunt's character is pregnant
dummy,
like
9 months pregnant,
and living through their day-to-day life and just trying to manage. And you can still tell that there's some animosity and grief between the kids and the dad.
Yep.
The dad's working downstairs in the basement all the time, trying to put together like this earpiece for his older daughter. And we're going to be kind of quick about this review because we're not going to go through the details of every little thing that they're doing.
There's definitely a strain on the relationship because she feels guilty for giving the toy to her little brother.
Right.
And, of course, John Krasinski feels guilty for not being able to protect his child.
Right. He doesn't blame the daughter.
No.
She thinks he does.
Thinks,
yeah.
But
that's natural, though.
He's upset because he couldn't do anything to stop it from happening.
Right.
Yeah.
But the daughter does not understand. She thinks her dad hates her.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and she says it. She was like, he never lets me do anything with him.
Nope.
Because that very next scene, he's taking the middle son.
Right.
And he's like, we're going to go fishing. And the middle son is just pure terrified.
Yeah.
He is terrified. He does not want to do anything.
No.
He wants to stay with his mom. He doesn't want to go be the man. He wants to be quiet. And the daughter's like, I'll go.
Yeah.
You know?
Let me go.
I'll go. And he was like, not this time.
You need to stay with your mom.
And this is like, why does he hate me? You know, and she goes off on her own.
Right. And there's a lot of times in this movie where I'm like, these dumb kids, man.
Yeah, these kids make some poor decisions, but they're kids. Especially the surviving boy. He makes some really poor decisions.
Yeah.
The rest of it's just, happenstance.
Yeah.
Just like, they go on their fishing trip and the kid's just wigging out with every little noise. And John Krasinski's trying to tell him, like, look, big sounds are bad, but little sounds here are fine because we have bigger sounds to
surround us
super
with.
smart.
To camouflage.
Even though it did make my butthole pucker a little bit when he screams.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, why test it? Why even test it?
I wouldn't.
Just have a conversation. I know that you need to go
nuts.
someplace maybe just to scream to get it out.
Yeah.
But like when he does it, I'm like,
I'd find a pillow.
I felt like the kid because he goes into panic mode. Like, yeah.
They're going to hear you.
Yeah.
They're going to hear you. It's like, no, big noise, man. We make all the noise we want.
And they're under a waterfall. And this is a pretty cool scene.
It was a pretty cool scene.
The daughter's kind of off on her own. The mom's doing
the daughter
laundry.
is mad. She has the original space shuttle that made the noise, and she takes it out to his marker at the end of the bridge.
Yeah.
And it's got a bunch of toys around it and pictures of him on the cross, and she's just
devastated by it.
Yeah, she feels completely ostracized from her family, and I felt so bad for her because she just hates herself.
Oh yeah,
she's struggling to find her own place.
In
There's
a world
nothing
where you can't make sound and you're deaf, so you literally have no idea how you're being loud at anything.
Exactly.
Can you imagine? Like you can't control anything because you don't know how loud you're being.
Exactly.
So everything she has to be is very precise and to a T. Otherwise, she has to tiptoe everywhere.
It's crazy.
And there's a lot of thought that went into this movie.
There was. Their discipline on this movie was so good. They never broke that world.
Right.
When it came to, the like I said, the discipline of sound.
Yeah.
And I was just in awe.
Oh yeah.
Through the whole movie, how they just really just put the effort into this thing.
And it is tense.
So building up to this, and we
tense.
get some like indoor right?
Yeah.
Like they're playing Monopoly. I think that happens before.
That happens before they go. Yeah.
You're kind of building, like
They're just a
learning
normal-
how they're
yeah.
living. They live in the farm, not in the house.
Right.
They're playing Monopoly with
barn.
soft pieces that they have been
Yep.
crocheted,
Yeah.
you know.
One
and
detail
then,
too that I really liked is that going through one of the houses is there's paint on the floor, and it's a wood floor. It's to avoid the creaking.
the creeks,
Of
they've
the
marked
house.
it.
Boards.
Yeah.
And so
Each
that was
step is painted where
The
you
middle
would step.
the middle kid knocks over the lantern
Lantern.
and it causes a fire, but a
Right.
crashing noise. So everyone's kind of listening, like, is it here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we hear the noise on the roof.
Right.
And everybody just starts just
Panicking.
You can see
Freaking
sheer
out.
panic in their face.
and they're like, oh shit.
Ends
and
up
so
being
John
two
raccoons, yeah.
John Krasinski goes to the window, and we get a party jump scare of
Yeah.
freaking raccoons just jumping down, and they're scurrying off, and they're
Only one makes it.
yeah.
Even
they
little
make it-
raccoon noises are too loud.
Yeah.
That tells you something.
But also, like, the daughter goes to the house and she is looking down the basement, and that's when he says, I don't
be
ever
going
want
down
you to go down there.
She was
I
gonna
really
go
never
down there.
understood that.
Me
I
though.
don't
either.
either. Yeah.
They never explain why. He said, please just stay out. And I don't know if he didn't want her seeing, he was working on the earpieces for her.
earpieces, yeah.
But she knew because it never worked.
Right, but I
Because
don't.
he kept saying, he
Maybe
told her when
that's
he handed
why-
it to her, it's
No.
like, look, I added this piece out of here and maybe a little amplifier.
I feel like that is literally the only plot hole. Unless
Explain why.
it's just dad not wanting, I don't want you to go in my workshop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no reason. He's very adamant about it.
But also, like, you got to think that there's so many sound equipment things down there, like radio broadcast
That's
stuff
true.
and stuff like
Anything
that.
But I mean,
that
I
goes
think that
off.
With
that,
her being-
that would have been a 3-second explanation of why. You know?
I mean, yeah.
Because after the movie, I was like, why couldn't she go to the basement?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That plot hole and the pregnancy are the only two parts of this movie that I just don't agree with. Because if you're so disciplined for your sound and stuff,
Just pull out, bro.
at 90 days, you're telling me 3 months later you couldn't have said, hey, I know they got condoms in that drugstore. Just saying.
But
Right.
I feel like that was part of their grief, that they were trying to replace that grief, and that's I don't know though. You know what
Wouldn't
I'm
have
saying?
been worth it to me.
Yeah.
Emily Blunt?
Nope.
Might have been.
Sorry.
Might have been.
So anyway, yeah, the boy and John Krasinski are on their way back. They come across a dead body,
They come across a house
a house.
on one side.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, there's an old man just standing there.
Yeah.
And then the camera pans down and you see the old
that
man's
scene.
wife had been gutted
Yes.
by one of the creatures.
Yeah.
And you can just see in the old man's face that
And John's
I'm done.
going, no.
Quiet.
And
Puts
the
his
buildup of
finger up.
his
And then he screams.
It's like a gut, like animal scream.
Yeah.
That it does.
He just wails,
Yeah.
basically. And then John grabs his boy and they run
Take
back
off.
Right.
the other direction and hide. And then you see the creature just
Boom.
fly in and take this guy out. It looked like it took its head off.
Over.
Like that. It was done. So
Brutal.
then they got to try to find their way back home.
Also, I looked it up, and John Krasinski said it's because of all the sound equipment down there.
Oh, okay.
He answered the question. He
Okay.
said that's why, is because of all the electronics down there, and she could have hit a button
Yeah.
and
And
shut
then
it all down
done
And
done.
never known.
and never known.
Yeah.
So that is
That
the
makes
answer
sense.
to that, which that's great.
Yeah.
I feel way better now.
Yeah. Plot hole answered.
Plot hole answered.
Cool. And so then it starts getting night, and Emily Blunt's character
Yep.
taking up laundry,
Going
and
about
again,
her day.
yeah, just doing her thing. That laundry sack pulls
a
up on,
nail. And they
pulls
pan
it
in on
right up.
They pan in on it
Yeah.
real hard, knowing that this is coming back
Hey.
at a later time.
Just so
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, that nail, and yeah, every time somebody used those stairs, then on, even after
Yeah.
the incident, I'm like,
Might
yeah,
watch
man,
out.
watch that nail.
Watch that nail.
Watch that nail.
Yeah, and then she goes into the house, right? And she
Yeah.
goes to the
In the house.
baby's,
She
the
goes up to
4-year-old's
the
room.
4 yeah, she's grieving and,
She
missing
has a
her
picture.
child. And
Yeah.
And they're setting up a soundproof room, basement of the barn, like a
Right.
little cellar area.
Yeah, they're like painting, like,
Well, they've put up
Newspaper.
paper mache,
Paper
to keep it from
mache, yeah,
echoing
yeah.
everything. They've stuffed pillows and mattresses and blankets in the floorboards, which is the ceiling of their area.
super smart stuff. Yeah.
And thrown a mattress over the top of it.
We also had
And it
gotten a
looks
scene
like-
somewhere in there where John is sitting on top of the silo and he lights the bonfire.
Yeah.
And you see all the neighboring places light their bonfire.
To let them know that.
My
they're
only
good.
bitch about that is there always someone up there watching?
Well, I'd imagine as soon as it gets dark, that's
Yeah.
when they do it. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
So
Maybe.
that's what I would assume. But yeah, it looks a lot like this room, how we soundproof this room with all the paper mache and stuff like that.
It does
So,
kind of look like serial killing in here.
Yeah. So
I don't know if you guys
ever
noticed
put
that.
that together?
I like it.
Yeah, it's nice.
Makes me feel like home.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So,
I mean, what are the odds of having two serial killers in the same room?
It makes me feel itchy.
You'll be all right, Dave.
You'll be
I'm not
okay.
scared.
No, shouldn't be.
You will be.
I put the lotion on the skin before I got here.
That's right. Precious.
Oh, gosh. So it was initially intended to leave the American Sign Language unsubbed, believing that the audience would understand the subtext of what's going on.
No.
Notably, the first trailer does not show subtitle signing at all. However, while editing the sequence where Reagan argues with her father regarding her hearing aids, it was decided by the filmmakers that the sequence would have to be subtitled. Sequently, the use of ALS throughout the movie was subtitled.
I'm glad it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
I agree.
'Cause I'm a
I
dum-dum.
feel like it would have just been silly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would have noticed.
You could have been doing anything and it wouldn't have mattered to me.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I know like
Yeah.
3 things from sign language,
Right.
and that's it.
There's no
go
this one.
poop.
I got thank you and home.
Right.
This is poop.
And I think I got that from Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
There you go. There you go.
We're throwing it way back.
Right. way back.
Whoa!
Oh, hey.
How many can we get in there today?
Right.
That's what she said.
Oh. Hey, that's a quote from The Office.
The what?
What?
Whoa.
Oh.
Never heard of it.
So anyway, it's getting night and
Kid's room, and she looks down, and
her water
had
broke.
and
Oh, man.
she's having contractions.
I'm sorry, but she didn't have any contractions before the water broke, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna
I
most
don't
of
know
the
the
time.
science
But
behind
whatever.
that, but this is-
Oh, no.
And I'm
what
sorry, a mother that's already had 3 kids, you know when you're gonna start labor.
Yeah.
Sorry.
well, Chelsea didn't. She's
she's had one kid?
Well, what I'm saying is that she had her water broke and then she had contractions.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know the science behind it. I'm just not going to speak on it.
Right.
Good idea. Don't dig yourself a hole like
I'm
I
not.
just did.
Right.
Yeah.
I just have a list of
Clopex is in
things.
here.
All right.
I just have a list of things from her that pain is not as bad as pregnancy. So
Okay.
she has a list of things like, oh yeah, this is bad, but it's not as bad as
It's
having
not
a
pregnancy.
I can tell you right now that everyone I know, female-wise, that have had kidney stones say that it's worse than pregnancy.
kid. Really?
Yeah.
Different type of pain.
I'm telling you right now, though, we don't care about epidural for whatever reason. Certain people are like, I did mine without an epidural.
That's because you're dumb.
Good for you.
Ben
Anyway,
was epidural. Jack was not. There was no time.
really? Wow. I'm telling you now that when they brought that needle in and they stuck it in her back, like in her spine, she had release as they're pushing it in. I was like, yep, that's awful. Like, if that's
It is
giving you relief.
super, super scary.
Yeah.
It's super scary.
If that gives you release, yep, I never want to go
I gotta
through
say,
that.
as soon as Ben came out and everyone was fine, I passed out. I did. I had owned the first word at the time, and we had a Kiss cover band that night, and we paid them like $5,000. They were full makeup, full stage.
Damn.
I mean,
Was
they
it
had
outside?
no, it was inside, and they had indoor fireworks. Like it was like a show.
Wow.
And so
In
we
the
ended
hospital?
up no, at the first word.
Oh, okay.
And then we like our goal was just to make our money back because we were just starting, right?
Yeah.
So we ended up just making our money back, and I got home at like 4:00 in the morning. She woke me up at 6, and she was like, "I'm in labor," and
No,
I was
you're
like,
not. Go back to
"I
bed."
am dead." And then I was up for like 24 hours
Yeah.
after that.
Adrenaline, man. It's insane.
I know, and as soon as it was all over, I slept for like 12 hours. I was just
Done.
dead, and she was
Yeah.
like, "Don't wake him up."
Between me.
Wow.
Quiet, please.
Quiet place. Yep.
Okay.
Sorry.
Back
All
at
right,
it.
we're good. So she's going into labor.
Coming down the stairs.
Come down the stairs. We get that damn nail going right in her foot, and
Yeah,
that
real slow close up.
gets
of
me
it.
every
and the
time.
part that you always think it's going to be the ball of the foot.
Yeah,
near the toes.
no.
This was the arch
Right.
of the foot, and I
And-
cannot place
And she
other
has
than
to
the
like
heel.
pull it out.
Yeah.
Other than the heel, I can't think of a worse place to take that nail. Oh God, it would hurt so bad. There'd be so much blood.
And she does
Yeah.
it without screaming.
Yep.
Like she has to pull her foot out without screaming.
I don't
And
know how.
what sets off is the she drops
Picture.
and it shatters on the glass, and then she, I guess, turns around and goes
It's going to go upstairs.
upstairs to the bathroom.
She has to
Avoid. Yeah,
she's
that's
got to
right.
divert the creature with the egg
timer. Yeah.
So she can run back upstairs and hide in the upstairs bathroom and try to give birth without making any noise. Just the tension freaking movie.
But here's an important
super tense.
Here's an important detail of it though, is that she flips the lights on the outside, which is my favorite detail of the entire movie.
The
signal turns all of the lights around the farm red.
Okay. Every path has a yellow, like a normal light bulb light.
Do you know if it was I'm telling you we have enemies in the camp or I'm going into labor?
No, enemies.
I thought so too.
It's enemies.
Yeah.
Is it? Either way, though, lights going on.
It
diverting.
Could be either.
It was genius.
Yeah.
It could be either because he says go light the fireworks, and she uses the fireworks loud noises as her time to scream. Yeah, as soon as they start going off, she screams.
Yeah. What a great detail. And best shots of the movie is the tub panning up, and then you see blood kind of working its way down the tub, and it's zooming up, and she's just like holding on for dear life. And then that's when it pans up to her face, and she hears the firework go off, and she lets it out.
You see the creature coming up the stairs, and his claws on the wall. And it's just like he's 6 feet away from that bathroom.
Right there, yeah.
And, they'll go off. I was like, wow, that was a little close.
All right.
Too close for comfort there.
And that's exactly what this movie is, too. It's this close call after close call.
Tension. Can't do any more of it.
Do anything. Krasinski gets back to the house, goes upstairs, and it diverted the aliens away from the house. He goes in the bathroom. You see just the tub full of blood.
And nothing else.
And you're like,
I tell you what, that was some gut-wrenching just emotion right then and there. When he's sitting on the floor thinking he just lost his wife and his new baby. I was like, bruh, this is rough.
Yeah. Did you think she had died?
Yeah. I thought for sure he was taking the shotgun.
I didn't think she was dead.
And gonna do something dumb.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, dude.
Scary handprint on the
shower. She's good. Well and good.
Yeah.
Baby's quiet.
Yep. Somehow.
God, I don't get it.
Work their way downstairs, into the soundproof room.
In the barn. Yep.
Yeah.
And then she hooks up the oxygen to the baby and puts him in the soundproof bassinet, which was genius.
That's pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's insane.
Seriously.
They asked, well, where's the kids? Well, one of them went out to the grave. The other one is left with the fireworks.
Yeah.
They should be
back.
They should be back. Well, I'm going to go find him.
The boy, on his way back from lighting the fireworks, gets spooked, and he sees one of the creatures and makes, to me, a huge tactical error running into a cornfield that just makes nothing but noise.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bruh. And for me, it looked like he was running through that cornfield for a good minute.
Yeah.
And then you get the sister finding him. Reagan finds where it was, and it's just like 10 feet off the path.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
he never seems like he's super bright.
No.
Right? I'm just like... I don't get it. So she finds...
He knocks himself out by running into the tractor tire.
Yeah. So he's hiding under the tractor, and he pulls her under, and they've got to find a way to get out of there. So they go to the silo where the bonfire is, and she goes... They get up there, and she lights it, and she's squirting all the lighter fluid, trying to get to see them, and she runs out of fluid, of course, and before anybody notices, and she starts panicking, like, we have to get out of here. And the boy's like, no, Dad, that'll come for us. I swear he'll come for us. And she's like, no, he'll come for you. He's not coming for me.
Yeah.
And that's when he's trying to convince her, Dad told me that they had a conversation at the waterfall that, you need to tell her that you love her. Because she doesn't think so. And he's walking to his sister, steps on the door, and falls into the grain bin.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you now that I didn't grow up on a farm, but like going out and playing all the time, like on my summers and stuff like that on a farm, you never
don't do it.
Ever
it's
play,
like
even play
man.
around a grain silo.
Bin.
No. Absolutely
not.
Yeah,
I know. They're super dangerous.
Super dangerous.
Yeah. There was actually a guy that he was working on one of the belts over where I grew up, and he was trying to fix it, and something happened. I don't remember if it was a kid or a dog or something like that. Ran by it and turned it on, and it took his hand off.
Dang.
Wow.
And it rode all the way up the belt and then dropped in the silo. And they called the ambulance. The ambulance somehow were able to get out there, and they were saying, well, if you can get the hand within, like, I don't know if it's like an hour or something like that, but they said we could try and reattach it. And so they were like, oh, shit. So they were getting all these people trying to go out there and like fish this freaking hand out of this silo bin, and The only thing that ended up working was they got the county treasurer out there, and he went up to the top of the silo bin, and what he did was he opened, had the door open or whatever, and he pulled out a subsidy check, and he waved it over the top, and that hand just flew up and grabbed on that check.
That was a walk.
Oh, my God.
This podcast is bullshit.
This podcast is bullshit.
That was the walkiest walk of a terrible joke I've ever heard.
You're welcome.
You get no pairs of New Balance for that one.
Man, as soon as they ended that silo bin, I was like, I got to tell that joke.
That's terrible.
Anyway, we get a really good tension-filled scene of the kids in the grain silo. Yeah, it's like quicksand, man. There's no footing. There's one thing whatsoever.
I don't know how they pulled themselves back up.
I don't either.
I don't know how you.
I don't even know how they got out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
So they would have
they got out because
this is the first time her earpiece works.
Yeah. And it comes down
a hole
in the bin, and then it's got to get away from her so bad it just goes through the wall.
Yeah.
So that's how they would have gotten out.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
I don't know why she didn't pick up on that sooner. Like right after that, you think that she would
probably
have.
couldn't have seen it.
That's true.
Because I can't imagine what that would have sounded like in your own head.
She doesn't notice it, but earlier on when she's making her way back to the house, one of the creatures comes up behind her.
But she never sees it.
And she never sees it. And so that's when the audience realizes that her earpiece going out.
Well, her proximity to the creatures causes her
the electrical
thing
signals
to feedback and
take off. For whatever
That's a pretty
reason.
good. I like that.
Yeah, that was pretty smart.
Detail. Yeah. They make their way back. Somehow they meet up by the truck with the dad, right?
They get cut off. Before this, John Krasinski in the farm basement with his wife, and she's telling him, look, you have to protect them. What are we if we don't protect our children?
Right.
So you have to promise me you have to protect them. That's when I knew John Krasinski was going to die.
Yeah.
Kind of just wrote it right on the wall for you. So he finds both of them, and they get separated, kind of, and one of the creatures is there, and he says, all right, we're going to run to the truck. And before he can get to the truck, the creature's coming up over the top of the building. And for some reason, he was lagging behind. He picks up an axe, and he starts walking, and then he notices...
So there was two things, is that pitch, and then they had the axe.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, I probably would have grabbed that pitchfork.
Yeah, probably would have had a little more luck.
Yeah.
But
and during this time, too, like something to do with the flame causes the water in the barn sprinkler system to go off.
I think what happened was the creature was up there when she was underneath, and it was looking for whatever was making the noise.
Right.
And it just wreaked havoc on the barn.
Right.
And busted the pipe.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And you see that as John Krasinski leaves to go find the kids, you see the water flooding into the opening.
Yeah, she's laying in bed, and she wakes up and realizes that half the basement, half the barn is flooded. Yeah.
So he goes and finds the kids, and he lags behind as they're going towards the truck that the little boy was playing in towards the beginning of the movie. And he hears the creature, and he stops, and he looks up, and he tries to swing the axe and hit the creature with it, knew what was going on, and just slaps him.
Boom.
Knocks him like 30 feet in the air.
Yeah, knocks him out, really.
Cuts his stomach all open, and he's not doing great. So the kids start screaming.
Dad. Yeah.
And the creature's like, oh, snacks. And
here we are.
It goes to go towards them, and it's beating up on the truck, and the kids are inside. And John Krasinski knows he has to sacrifice himself to save his children. And he's looking right at Reagan, and this was a heartbreaking scene. He's looking right at her, and he tells her, he signs to her that I love you, and I always have.
Yeah.
You know, and then he just screams.
What a great line, too, man.
Creature just comes and takes him.
And they hit...
The kid releases the emergency brake and rolls down the hill.
Yeah.
And rolls all the way to the house. Mom comes out the barn.
Because she's watched everything on CCTV because he's got cameras everywhere. She saw him die.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to start this whole grief process over. But first, we still have 2 more creatures to kill.
Right.
Yes.
Actually, all 3 of the creatures.
Yeah, none of them are dead. Yeah.
None of them are dead. So they're down in the basement, and here it comes.
She walks down. She purposefully moves over to miss the damn nail.
Yep.
And then you see this big old blood spot. And then the kid...
She says, watch that nail.
Watch that nail. Reagan, deaf, she doesn't hear anything. She just goes right
down
by
the
it.
steps.
And I was like, I thought for sure she was going to step on that damn nail.
Get both of you.
Yeah. So, yeah, the creature comes downstairs. We get a really good scene. And I don't know for you guys, but it wasn't really a shock. But I do remember the audience being like, "Oh yeah, it's the sound that takes them out." And I was like,
You go to movies, a lot of dum-dums.
"Yeah,
Yeah, I had that figured out the first time it happened.
Yeah.
right."
Yeah.
So, so we get a really cool scene. Family figures it out, and it's kind of the last pitch for the audience to actually figure it out.
Yeah.
So your base up against the speaker, and creature just
Like
Nails
freaks
crumples.
out.
Yeah.
Dude, and then when she blasts him with a shotgun,
Shotgun,
because they shut it off, and he kind of gets back up, and he's like,
Oh,
"What the hell just
is
happened?
going on?"
Now I'm mad!" Roar, and then you get your head blown off with a shotgun.
Right, because all of that armor plating is just crumpled.
Yeah.
And we
Then
get
you
one
look
of the
on-
most badass scenes ever where the CCTV is showing all these creatures coming, and then
They're
Reagan
surviving too.
Right.
goes over, turns the amplifier like halfway up, and looks at the mom,
Mom
and
racks a load.
boom,
Let's do this.
cut to black.
Cut to black in
Awesome.
the movie. It's a great movie.
It really
is.
is. Yeah.
It's quick. It's suspenseful.
It's original.
It's
It's
original.
original.
So original.
Yeah.
It's so fresh.
Yeah.
Something so new. Krasinski nailed it. The
He
directing was great.
Yeah, I agree.
The script was great.
Script was
The
great.
sound design on this movie was
Man,
fantastic.
it just-
Also,
Visuals
I
were
was
great.
looking up the red
Detail.
lights on my phone, and the red lights emitted a sound as well. Like
Really?
a high-pitched frequency.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when they turned them to red, it distracted them. It would make them lose their trail of where they were going.
Throw 'em
so,
off a little
yeah,
bit.
throw them off. Just
awesome.
to give you a little bit more time to figure out what the hell to do.
Damn.
I like that detail a lot.
For sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, going into our ratings, we have a S through F scale. S being our top tier quality movie. I mean, there might be one or two things, but it's such a great movie that you're willing to overlook them.
Yep.
A is your near perfect movie. I mean, it just doesn't quite hit that top tier. B is above average. It's a good movie,
Solid.
pretty solid. C is your average film. D is less than average.
One redeeming quality.
Yeah,
Just
one or two things.
One or
Just
two.
one thing.
Yeah, and then F.
You have nothing.
This podcast is bullshit.
They bring nothing to the table.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
No story, no.
F.
No character development.
F being one of the worst pieces of garbage ever. I mean, it's
Doesn't even have good action.
yeah.
Nothing.
Oh my gosh.
No redeeming quality.
None.
So anyway,
Right
Terrible
to jail.
sets.
Right to jail.
Lee, do you have any last minute things about A Quiet Place?
Quiet
before we
Place,
end it?
again, I can't give it enough kudos. It's got the one plot hole for me of her getting pregnant. Y'all put
I don't
so
think
much,
that was a plot hole though.
I
But
think
yeah.
y'all put so much thought and effort into everything else. This probably should have been at the forefront of your brain.
But that was for this movie.
I understand.
Her pregnancy was Chekhov's gun. That's one of those things too, where the only movie that I've never seen a pregnant woman give birth in the movie is Fargo, and they put that in there specifically
Yeah.
for the audience to be like, "Hey, I wonder when she's gonna have the baby."
Never.
Never happens
Right.
in Fargo.
Right.
But that's, like I said, it's one of those things that's just like the nail. She's pregnant. She's going to give birth sometime during this movie. It's
Right.
just a ticking time bomb.
I'm just like, I thought the tension was already ratcheted up
Oh,
enough.
yeah.
You didn't need an add a baby to it.
right.
Yeah.
For us, mine was like the foot thing.
Yeah.
But for like Chelsea and quite a few other people, that pregnancy in the bathtub, that is one of the worst scenes to get
Oh,
through.
I
So,
bet it'd be pretty tough.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm sorry.
No, again, that plot hole doesn't stop me from watching this movie whenever anybody says, "Hey, let's put this movie on." I'll
Right.
watch it because, again, I love John Krasinski. He's good. Emily Blunt did a great job. The
killed
kids
it.
did a
Oh, yeah.
perfect job.
Oh,
Yeah, they
yeah.
all killed it.
That kid, the younger boy, was terrified. Looked real
Yeah.
to me.
Right.
That kid looked like he was
Scared.
going to die.
Yeah.
And just a great job. I don't have any complaints of this movie. I don't know that I could give it an S,
Yeah.
but I could definitely give it an A minus.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's great, and I think it's a good introduction to horror movies for people.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that it's over the top scary
Or
No.
gory.
or gory. I think it's intense, but again, acting, set,
Right.
thoughtfulness of the movie, like all the
Attention
tiny
to
little
detail.
details, fantastic. Again, super rewatchable.
Oh, yeah.
And even the second one, I liked a lot, and I'm excited for the third one. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm going A on it.
Well, I'm going to echo the same thing you guys are saying. I really liked Reagan's character. I feel like
Yeah.
she did an excellent job in this movie.
Like, how amazing to put a deaf child in this movie.
right?
Right.
Like, it's
That was just
it's
perfect.
brilliant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, on top of that, her performance in this was fantastic
yeah.
too. And
She
like I
did
said,
such a great job.
every single one of these people in the movie is top notch. And I could imagine that they had a great time putting this movie together. It's one of the few movies that the script is so well thought out that, I mean, there are nitpicky things that you could try and pick, but they're not going to hold up too much, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, overall, I
mean, look, I nitpicked the why couldn't she go downstairs, and I
we
literally
looked it up.
Googled it, and they were like, it's just because of all the sound equipment downstairs.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
It does make a lot of sense.
Totally makes sense. Yeah.
So, yeah. With that being said, I think I'm on the same page as you guys. I think I'm going to give it. I was looking at A plus, but I think I'm going to end up with an A on this. So
overall A.
Overall A. Yeah.
Highly recommended.
Go see it.
Go see it. Watch the second one, and
see
we'll
the
let you
third
know
one.
about the third one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
So awesome.
Cool.
All right. Well, thanks for listening.
All
Thanks for
right.
coming on the show, guys.
Thanks.
Well, I'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Oi,
Later.
oi.
Oi, oi. Hello and welcome to the Postcast. I wanted to say thank you to all our loyal and new listeners. Shout out to our new listeners and subscribers. Thank you so much for helping us and supporting us on this journey. Also, happy Juneteenth to all those in the U.S. We invite you all to check out our Facebook group or check out our Reddit sub. If you're listening on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe, and tell us what you think the movie should be rated, and follow us wherever podcasts are found. Look for our next episode, Monday, July 1st, as we have a new guest on the show to talk about the movie Jaws. We hope you've enjoyed our program just as much as we did recording for you. Thank you, and stay tuned for our next episode.